Good afternoon, traders. Hello, how are we? Bonjour, hola, ¿cómo estás? How are we? Hope you're all well, guys. Hope you're having a good trading week. It's the first of the month. It's the 1st of October. Where does the time go? Literally, it feels like yesterday I was spending Christmas in the UK, and now it's October. So what the hell is going on? Also, guys, we've got a big announcement today, but something we're going to do for this month, right? So we'll release that very shortly. I'll tell you all about it. And as usual, we're going to take as many of your questions as humanly possible in 45 minutes. And we've got news, right? So we've got news coming out later on as well. So we've got ADP non-farm. Let me just bring this up. We've got ADP non-farm employment coming out at 1:15. And this is a pretty good indicator of what NFPs is going to look like, right, on Friday. But will the government be open, right? It's all going a bit wrong in the States, and they're closing the government. You know things aren't going well when you close your government. So we'll see what happens with NFPs. And just because of all of these things happening, guys, it's creating a volatile backdrop to trading. Yeah, so tread carefully next couple of days. NFP, the government is shutting down, usual Trump antics. He's blaming the Democrats and they're blaming the Republicans. So there you go. But we're going to start, guys, by saying that for the month of October, right, I am only going to take price action pro indicator trades. Okay, because we've built this indicator and we're very proud of it because it trades how I trade, right? It's based on the principles of price action, and it's been kicking ass, right? It's been getting some great results. So I'm going to sort of put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and I'm only going to trade indicator trades. Now, you'll probably think, Tom, that's how you trade anyway, but there's a few stricter rules to using the indicator. Right. So even I am going to find, I'm going to see trades that I may potentially like, but if it's not an indicator trade, I won't take it. So all trades throughout October are going to be price action pro indicator trades. And I hope you can join me for this month, guys, to see, how it performs and, find out a little bit more about our indicator that we're really proud of. That is October, and that is going to be all of our trades. Now, obviously, guys, we're still going to be talking price action. We're still going to be talking trading. We're still going to be looking at potential setups, for you guys, because not all of you have the indicator. So, still, business as usual. But my trades are going to be solely price action pro trades. Let's see how it rolls. There you go, guys. And somebody please remind me about the news coming out at 1:15, because I get chatting and I can't stop. That's the plan of action, guys. Also, what did I want to tell you? I've been to the dentist today. I had a clean scalp and polish, and I don't need any fillings. So I thought you'd be really happy to know that. You're not here to talk about trading. You're here to talk about dentistry. But good news. I don't want to see the drill come out. So that's me, guys. That's what's going on. And also, guys, please get your questions over to us. Let's say hello to a few people. Jane, how are you, Jane? Brett here. Tom, you better be careful. The indicator could put you out of a job. If the indicator keeps doing what it's been doing, then I will happily follow the indicator trades, past October. Let's just see. Let's just trade October. only price action pro trades, and we'll see where we are. So yeah, there you go, guys. Right. Jane wants to look at pound Aussie dollar. Jane, we'll get straight to that and have a look at that. I'm just going to show you a couple of trades I'm interested in. PJ, hey PJ, how are you? Mr. Billionaire, US oil. Okay, so we've got a few trades to look at straight away. Now, a few things I'm looking at, guys, are, yeah, a couple of Swiss franc pairs, right? I was in Swiss franc as of yesterday, but now, I was looking for Swiss franc weakness, and now we're seeing it, right? Sod's law. That just sums up the month I had in September, and that's another reason why we're just going to focus October on the indicator trades. So yeah, if we get a nice break of this level, right, you are going to see our indicator turn green, indicating an uptrend, and then I'll be looking for a retrace into here, right, and then we will look to buy Canadian dollar Swiss franc. So really liking that setup if we get a trade. I'm also keeping an eye on Euro US dollar. We could be close to getting a structure break here on Euro US dollar because, you know, lots of people have been looking to sell Euro US dollar, and lots of people in our Discord have been stopped out because this looked like a really nice level in here, right? And then price is just, it's become an uptrend, right? It's become an uptrend stroke range, really. So Euro US dollar, if we get a nice break of this level, then a retrace, right, I will be looking to sell this, you know, again, potentially all the way down to these last lows here. So yeah, just wanted to share those, guys. There's a couple of trades that I'm looking at right now. But yeah, let's have a look at pound Aussie dollar for Jane. And Jane, this was one of my trade ideas for today. I like this trade, and for sells. Now, let's do a top-down approach, guys, right? So let's start with the daily. And as you can see, right, on the day chart, we are clearly in this downtrend, right? There was a bit of sideways action, but now we've broken all of these lows, right? And we've broken all of these lows with yesterday's candle, right? This big bearish candle here. So yeah, you know, this is a downtrend. That is a continuation of trend. We're looking for sells. We're not, you know, we're close to the moving average 20 as well and the smart river, right? Now, if we drop to the weekly or go up to the weekly, weekly is also in a downtrend, right? As soon as these lows in here broke with this candle here, right, we are in a downtrend, okay? And as you can see, we just broke that low. The thing for me is just we've had just bullish weekly candles here. It seems to be like holding on to this level, right? But again, there's still a nice amount of room to move into on the weekly, and we are in a downtrend. So, Jane, yeah, looking for sells for pound Aussie dollar. Now, as I explained, I can only take price action pro trades, right? Our indicator trades. And this isn't a setup. But looking at it, right, you've had H4 is clearly, I would say that was a low. It's clearly in a downtrend. We've had a nice retrace and we've had a nice bearish candle. Okay. But there's something about this trade. It's just the fact that it's holding on to this level here, and it'll be interesting to see what the daily candle looks like. Now, sometimes what I will do, just for the last piece of confirmation, because this is going to be in a H1 uptrend, right? So we've got a nice bearish candle. We've even got a lot of room to move down into, potentially back to this 203,000 psychological level. But if we look at the H1, right, you know, to The final piece of the jigsaw, if you like, you could wait for this, Jane, wait for another piece of confirmation, and that confirmation would be a H1 structure break, right? So if this happened, right, and then we end up getting this, right, breaking that low, you know, we could potentially start selling in here, stops above here, and then look to take price back down to these lows. All right, so yeah, pound Aussie dollar sells. I like that trade, Jane. Yeah, and I assume you were looking to sell it, right? I hope so, because that's a blatant sell trade. Okay, Mr. Billionaire. Surely there must be a Mr. Trillionaire as well. Okay, so Mr. Billionaire, yeah, US oil. Okay, so all right, we're going to take a look at US oil now as well, guys. Let me just have a quick drink of water. I say it's water. Let's have a look at oil. Now, oil, it's the weekly daily that's very confusing. All right, so let's have a look at Brent crude. Or you want us to look at specifically US oil. Okay, let's have a look at US oil. Okay, all right, and let's have a look at this one here. Let's go here. So basically, this will be the same as spot crude, right? So if I went to spot crude, you can see it's identical, right? Now, let's do a top-down approach here as well, guys, because you've got conflict here, right? On the daily versus the weekly, there is some conflict. And as you can see, right, we're in an uptrend, okay? We're clearly in an uptrend. We're getting higher highs, and these lows are holding. This is a key support level. Now, if you think about that, right, we're in an uptrend, we're getting higher highs, we're at a nice support level, you know, we get a bullish candle, we could look to start buying crude, right? That would make perfect sense on the day chart. Yeah, it really would, you know, but if I show you the weekly chart now, right, it's just a sell trade, right? We're in this downtrend, stroke range, right? But we are ultimately in a downtrend. We're getting lower highs, right? But these lows are holding. But the fact the weekly is in a downtrend doesn't fill me with confidence to start buying oil, right? Even though we are at the bottom of this range, you know, and, you know, as we saw on the day chart, right? This is that range we're talking about on the weekly. We're at the bottom of it. Can we trade it back up to the high? Yes, I mean, that is a possibility, but the fact the weekly is in a downtrend, it just decreases the probability of the trade. But let's follow this trade through. Mr. Billionaire, what do you want to do with it? Are you looking for buys, sells? What are you looking to do? But let's imagine we are looking for buys because we're at the bottom of the range. We're in a daily uptrend. If you look at H4, there's absolutely nothing telling us to buy, right? We was in this uptrend and then pretty much bang, right? It's dropped like a stone. But we're at this support level. So what I would want to see, guys, is, you know, perhaps it uses that level and it starts finding a H4 resistance level, right? A level that proves itself. It needs to be, you know, hit a couple of times, like it needs to touch it a couple of times. And then we get a break, then okay, then oil is a possibility. If that's also supported by a nice bullish daily candle, as you can imagine, would look something like this, then okay, I think we could potentially buy oil. So yeah, but I don't want to sell it. You know, one thing I don't want to do is sell into support. You know, maybe if it comes down and breaks this level, then okay, we've got a sell trade. But right now, yeah, I wouldn't be selling into support. If anything, it would be a buy trade for me. So hope that helps, Mr. Billionaire. Stuart, what happened last night? Are the wheels falling off now? That's 2 defeats in a row. Stuart, the wheels fell off in September, but that was, that was only our second losing month, right? We're still profitable for the year, but September was a very bad month for us. Yeah, and I've, as always, guys, all my results are in the Discord, and the VIP Discord is where all my trades are. So please go check it out if you want to see how bad September was. But yeah, again, guys, like it was a particularly bad month, but you're gonna have bad months, right? That was my second losing month. So yeah, when people say the wheels fell off and things like this, it's normally a very short-term view of your performance, right? I generally look at the year, right? And every year we've started the Discord and put all of my trades in there, profitable every year, and we're still profitable this year, but horrific September. So no, the wheels are not falling off, but it is one of the reasons we're going to look at the price action pro indicator and only trade that for October, because that had a plus 6% month, right? So yeah, that was one of the reasons we're just gonna for 1 month we're gonna trade only price action pro indicator trades. Bit of a mouthful, I think you'll agree. Niraj, hi, how are you? Luigi, the most Italian man in the world. Jane, you are very welcome. Awesome God. Okay, awesome he is. How are you? Nero, you always have a good question for us. Hope I'm not too late. Afternoon from Brum. Nero, where's Brum? Do you mean Brummy, like Birmingham? Where's Brum? Ikram, hi, US government is shut down, so what happened on the US dollar? Well, the US government shutting down creates volatility, is what it creates. Now, there would be one argument that you could have US dollar strength. There'll be another argument, there'll be US dollar weakness, right? So don't start thinking of all these permutations, right? You'll get a headache and you'll get more gray hair. Oh, right. Okay, yes, yeah. Okay, I meant Liverpool. Stuart, okay, yes, Liverpool, the wheels are falling off. Yeah, it's just September in general, guys. It's been a bad trading month. It's been a bad month for Liverpool. I'm bloody glad it's over. But yes, Stuart, yeah, wheels are falling off for Liverpool. Thank you, Mike, for pointing that out. I'm with you now. Bear with me, guys. I've been to the dentist. So yeah, back to Ikram's point, right? The government's in shutdown, right? You could say, oh, the government in shutdown will mean this. The government in shutdown could mean this. And what you're doing is you're trying to predict the future. So don't do that, right? You can have an opinion on it. That's more like dinner table chat. Like, oh, Tom, the US government shut down. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, isn't that interesting? I think the dollar will do this, or, I think that can have a detrimental impact on the indices, right? But it's not for trading, right? That's me giving my opinion and forecasting the future. But really, if you want to know about the dollar, look at the dollar index. Okay. And if we do a quick look at the dollar index, let's drag this level across. I'm going to include those highs there, right? The dollar, as we know, ever since hitting this key support level here, has been strong, right? And we've seen that dollar strength across all of the US dollar majors. Yeah, so you've got this uptrend, clearly. We've hit resistance again. Excuse my line, I've been drinking. I don't know what the dentist gave me, but there you go. I'm not understanding anyone's questions and I can't draw straight lines. I'll be back there later for more. But the day chart is in an uptrend, right? And there's also this level through here, right? So it'll be really interesting to see what the dollar does today. Okay. Yeah, so let's see what the dollar does today, because this is in an uptrend. You know, if we start getting a bullish reaction in here, let's say we end up with a candle that looks like that, right? I think US dollar strength is still on, right? On the daily. Let's take a quick look at the weekly. Yeah, and you can see that key weekly level, right? And ever since we've hit that level, bullish candle, although we are at resistance. But ultimately, the US dollar is bullish, right? And I still want to sell euro US dollar. I showed you that trade earlier. I'm also interested in pound US dollar sells. I'm interested in US dollar Swiss franc buys, which actually just broke a H4 level. Sorry, US dollar Swiss franc. Oh no. Okay, I've got an alarm come up, guys, but yeah, it still hasn't broken this level. In fact, let's put this level in. Right, so you can see with US dollar Swiss franc, I'm still interested in buying this. If you look at the day chart, you know, it looks like the dollar index, right? That, you know, of course it does. You know, they're going to be super correlated. Yeah, that, you know, we just looked at the dollar index. Look at this, it's identical, right? So again, we're starting to see some bullish candles in here. It'll be interesting to see how this daily candle finishes, but ultimately still interested in buying US dollar Swiss franc back up to there. So we shall see, guys. But yeah, US dollar strength. Mike, yeah, Stuart, yeah, I got your meaning in the end. Yeah, 1-0 to Galatasaray. I didn't stay up and watch it because it's on at like 11 p.m. out here. And, you know, I've got a 2-year-old daughter. So I'm normally crying on the sofa by about 10 p.m. It's not that bad. She's brilliant. Nero, yes, from Birmingham. Okay, good, Nero. My prognosis was correct. Okay, Adrian, afternoon from. Okay, so Adrian's in Birmingham as well, although a United fan. Hi, Sir Subrosa, how are you? Ikram News. Yeah, okay, Christ. Philip, thank you for reminding me we're 8 minutes late. Right, let's have a look at some US dollar pairs on the hourly. So we are seeing US dollar weakness, right? US dollar CAD, there's weakness. Yeah, US dollar weakness. I'm going to say that ADP non-farm were terrible. Let's take a quick look. Yes, my God. That is the most horrific piece of news I've ever seen. That is such a miss, to the point I'm thinking, is that a misprint? That is horrendously bad, right? So remember, guys, ADP non-farm is a pretty good indicator of what's going to happen with NFPs, right? So, you know, it begs the question: should we be selling we should be selling US dollar or whatever when NFPs comes out, right? Because you can see the effect that ADP non-farm's having on the US dollar, right? So, yeah, I'm going to say it, shit data coming out, and we've still got loads more data coming out later. So, going to be an interesting day for the dollar, but that's terrible. No wonder we're seeing some US dollar weakness, like across the board. Yeah, look at that, right? Will it be sustained? We shall see, right? I mean, we're already seeing that. We're already seeing that, you know, it's not sustained as yet. But yeah, terrible ADP. Ikram, good example, Tom. Thanks. You're very welcome, Ikram. I always like your picture of a little cat. More of a dog man myself. Phil and me, Tom. Carlos, how are you, Carlos? Carlos moves around the world more than I have hot dinners. He was in South America, then Norway, now he's in Valencia. In fact, Carlos, I think my little retirement area is going to be Valencia. So we could be neighbours soon. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to retire to. A bit closer to the family back in the UK. Not much of them left, to be honest, but yeah. But boom. Okay, so Forex Factory is showing the same, minus 32k for ADPs. So yeah, that's horrific data. Right, Nero. Hi, Tom. So I passed a funded account earlier this year, made 4 withdrawals, after which it all went to the toilet. WC, which is water closet. I'm assuming that's what that means. Nero, you are part of MI5. You use code and stuff like that. After which it all went to toilet, right? I haven't been able to pick myself back up since July, losing loads of trades, can't catch a break. Right, so let's talk about this, right? Because that was my September, okay, in a nutshell. I couldn't, there was a few winners in there, but, the majority are losing trades. It feels like I couldn't pick a winner for love nor money. So let's focus on this question. Before I do, guys, if I could please ask everyone to subscribe to the channel right now. Also, please smash the notification button so you don't miss a vid. And if everyone could please smash the like button, thank you very much. It supports the vid. Also, guys, if you look above my head, the beautiful banner the editor has made. Let's start with the first one. So if you check out the website, www.simply-forex.com, you can get access to all of our premium trading education, including the course, including the mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one, including the VIP Academy, which is part of the Discord, and including our new price action pro indicator. Right, if you're interested in any of those things, please go check out the website and have a look. That means to non-English slang speaking people. Also, guys, please come join our Discord. Right, it's free, and on our Discord, everyone's sharing trade ideas, everyone's sharing knowledge. It's a great community, guys. So please come join the Discord. I know some of you are like, what is Discord? Just click on the link and you will see, right? It's a beautiful community. And then finally, guys, today's live stream is brought to you by Pepperstone. They are a world-class broker, and we've partnered with them for that reason. And right now, if you switch brokers and go to Pepperstone using our link in the description, we will give you free VIP access and we'll give you a free Essential Trading View subscription. What is not to like? So go check that out, guys. And that goes for all existing members, people in the Discord. That promotion is open to everyone, right? Even if you are a even if you are a Pepperstone client already, we can still put you out under our umbrella. All right, guys. So there you go. Check it all out. All the links are in the video description. Right. So Nero was like kicking ass at the start of the year. Passed a funded account, made some withdrawals, everything's happy, thinking I'm the man, trading is brilliant and good for you, right? But now, since July, struggling, right? And yeah, like I say, I can relate, September was shit. I think that's fair to use that word, right? Now, I'm laughing, but it is serious, guys, right? No, I don't like losing money, obviously, right? But I lost money from a position of profitability, right? It was a heavy loss, but I'd already made a nice amount of profit this year, so that eased my woes, right? But the point I want to make here is it's not that if you've had success with your strategy, right? So your strategy has proven itself to have an edge, okay? And your strategy, you need to give a strategy at least 6 months, if not a year. And in those 6 months or year, right, if you are profitable overall, and I would say 2% a month profitable, right, I would say that's a benchmark, right? Because why is that a benchmark? Because 2% a month. So if you look it up, right, most hedge funds, right, and this is quite aggressive, will get you about 20% a year, right? And that's if the economy is doing well and indices are pushing up, right? But a hedge fund, as a ballpark figure, will get you 20% a year. So if you equate that to 2% a month, which is 24%, right? So a little bit under 2%. If you're not getting that each month, then give your money to a hedge fund or a financial firm and just let them do the work for you. Right now, I do both. Right, I trade and I give my profits from my trading and put them into some living money, but I put what I can into long-term investments. Right, usually funds, pretty much, or even stocks themselves. Just buy the stock. Right. So, but back to my point. So if you're not making 2% a month, then give your money to someone else, right? Let them do it for you. But, sorry, I just had a pain in my tooth from the dentist there. God, it's painful. But yeah, but if your strategy is proven to you that it's successful, so your strategy in the past was successful, right? And you passed a funded challenge and everything. Now, what you mustn't do is when you do have a bad time, is go and change everything, right? Don't go changing your strategy, right? Let's say you use price action. Don't go changing that and start doing EA trading or something more, something completely different, right? Stick with your strategy because you're going to have losing months and losing periods, right? But over the long term, like a year, right? If it's profitable to, let's say, 20% or more for the year, then you have a wonderful strategy. If you can pull 20% out of the market each year, you're doing brilliantly, right? Now, to give you an idea, guys, right? Before this month, I was at 32%, right? And we was having, I was having a very good year by my standards, right? I was having a very good year. And then I had a terrible month and we lost, over 10% this month, right? Which, is a lot and it's not easy to take. But I'm not going to go start abandoning all my price action principles. I'm still going to trade that logic. I know I'm using the indicator, but it's based on how I trade anyway. And also the point here is when you do have a bad streak, go back and check your trades, right? Were you over trading? Were you getting into B-rated trades? All the common mistakes. Were you over leveraged in some positions? Were you under leveraged? And all of these things, right? And I did that for the month of September. And then I looked at the price action pro indicator and it would have kept me out of many of my losing trades, right? And as a result of using the indicator, I'm going to have less trades this month. But don't lose sight of your strategy, right? It's still a good strategy. You've proved you can pass the fund. So just keep doing what you're doing and don't start making all the mistakes. Don't start revenge trading, trying to get your money back. Don't start over leveraging, just stick to your plan. And your plan isn't broke. It's just you haven't given it enough time to play out over a long enough period, right? Now, the real test would come, right? And I was thinking this to myself. Now, you know, imagine, so let's say you've got a kick-ass strategy, right? But you don't know it yet. You've got a kick-ass strategy, right? And if you went into the future, by the end of the year, it would have made you 30%, right? But now let's rewind. We've got out of our time machine, right? And we're back in January. Now, imagine you had a minus 6% month in January. I promise you will immediately change that strategy, right? Because it didn't work for 1 month. But that's the worst thing you can do, right? You've never given it a chance to prove itself. You know, and like lots of things in trading, it's the longevity that's needed to prove something to you, right? And also the discipline to trade that strategy to the letter over long periods of time, right? If you can do those two things, follow a strategy for 6 months and execute it to the letter, I promise you'll be profitable, almost regardless of the strategy, dare I say, right? It's a little bit of a bold statement. There's lots of shit strategies out there, but you get my point. So, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing until you have a year's worth of data, then make a decision, right? Or you can make some tweaks to it then, but don't keep tweaking it throughout the year because you'll end up lost. All right, but yeah, Nero, Emperor Nero, we're all going to have those months, you know, part of trading. And again, guys, you know, another important thing here is for you to know your trading statistics. So generally speaking, I operate at a 60% win rate, right? Typically take 1:1 risk to reward. Hence why my win rate is quite good, right? I'm taking trades at 1:1 and I usually let some profit run, right? So I am wrong 40% of the time, right? Which is huge, right? But a lot of great traders out there will be wrong a lot, right? So also understand that if your win percentage is 60%, you're going to be wrong 40% of the time. So of course you're going to have a losing month here and there, right? But don't dwell on it. Just keep going and focusing on the next trade. You know, and the last thing I'll say on it is don't get caught up in all of that, right? Easier said than done, right? But if you're having a really good winning streak, it doesn't matter. If you're having a losing streak, it doesn't matter. What matters is you following your strategy to the letter over a long period of time. And that is what will give you longevity in this game. And that is what will give you consistency. And that is what will give you profitability eventually, right? It will, if you do those things. So don't get caught up on individual months. Yeah, don't get me wrong, right? September hurt, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to crack on and, you know, not dwell on it, right? Still got 3 months left. I'm still profitable this year. We're in a good position, right? But even if I wasn't, it doesn't matter. It's all about performance. It's all about your next trade, right? And how well you execute that trade. And how well you execute a trade is based on 3 things. It's based on following your strategy, right? It's based on following your money and risk management. And it's based on how are you psychologically when you take the trade. And if you can say, I'm good, or 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, then you take the trade and you have a good trade. And that is a good trade. Whether that makes you, you know, 1% or whether it loses you 1%, it's a good trade, right? It's not about winning and losing. I know it is ultimately over the year, because you want to be profitable. But each trade is not about winning or losing. It's just about performance, right? You know, if you think about footballers, right? You know, of course they want to win the game, but there's many variables, you know, that will stop them from winning the game, right? It's the same with the markets. I want to win every trade, but there's many variables that are going to stop me. You know, Trump, geopolitics, news, data, just the market had different ideas, right? It didn't obey price action. Yeah. So you can't control whether it wins or loses. But what you can control is you and your performance. All right. So, yeah, that's what I would say about all of that, guys. Hope I haven't prattled on too much. Hope that helps, Nero. Right. Carlos. Right. US 500. Let's take a look at the S&P. Let's go to the day chart. So, yeah, the thing with the indices is this, right? We're clearly in an uptrend. I'm going to include that, right? We're clearly in an uptrend, but we are at daily resistance. We're at the last daily high, okay? Now, you know, trading this candle into the daily high is a good idea, right? But trading into this daily high now with all these rejection wicks, it's become less of a good idea, right? So I don't want to buy into that. There's not enough, but there's not enough room on the daily. Maybe there is on the H4, but there's not enough room on the daily to trade into. Plus, we're getting some rejection wicks there. They're not massive, but they are rejection wicks. So let's take a look at the H4. Yeah, so there's that last daily high, right? Could we take price back up to there? Yeah, probably, right? Looking at the market, looking at this big bullish candle, looking at this bullish candle, which hasn't finished forming, then yes, I would suggest we can take price back up to here. And we're starting to develop a bit of a range here. And that happens a lot because of the following, right? You are at daily resistance. So you are going to have some sellers. You're in a daily uptrend. So down here, you've got a nice amount of buyers to the point where the H4, you know, has become an uptrend stroke range, right? But it's become a range because you have sellers at resistance and you've got this daily uptrend with buyers. So this H4 may want to do this for a while, right? And just fart about at this level. So we'll see, right? We'll see. But yeah, okay, I think there are some pips to be had between there and there. But I must say, I don't like, you know, these daily, well, yesterday's daily wick to be exact. It's literally touched those highs, right? Let's have a quick look at the weekly. Yeah, and the fact the weekly has a bit of a doji as well, that's not exactly, you know, filling us with confidence to buy it, right? You know, if we look at this, right, if we zoom in, definitely buyers, right? Sellers have come in. So much so they've created a doji. And that's what you're seeing, that uncertainty there at those highs. So yeah, there probably are some pips to be had back up to those highs, but I wouldn't say it's a super duper A1 high probability bad boy. Yeah, so there you go, Carlos. Right, Riz is saying 4K next week for gold. Might be. Yeah, probably 5,000 the way gold's going. Look at gold. I am going to raid my wife's jewelry. Dear, I'm laughing at my own jokes. I'm not really. I'm not going to steal all her gold. I might. I might. But yeah, just sell all your gold and then go live happily ever after, I think. Jokes aside, yeah, gold's a buy, super overextended. Can we get in on this trade? Right now, no. You know, I'd want to see a pullback of some kind, at least to the smart river, right? And then potentially, okay, we can start buying gold. But buying gold up here, no way, Jose. And then just finally here, Brett saying hedge funds give people between 10 to 15%. Okay, maybe I was being a little bit generous. So, okay, if you can consistently hit, you know, over 1% a month trading, then happy days, right? You're performing as well as the hedge funds. If you can start hitting 1.5% a month or even 2% a month, you are kicking hedge funds' asses. Because you also have to bear in mind that the beauty of being a retail trader really is, you know, and it's a double-edged sword. You're not restricted by massive risk departments, right? Whereas a hedge fund will have an entire department focused on risk, and they will be making sure you stay within it. So, you know, you have some freedom in that respect compared to hedge funds. Obviously, you don't have the capital they have to trade, but that's a double-edged sword, right? Don't start going crazy. All right. And on that note, don't start going crazy. We're going to call it a day, guys. But yeah, please come join me again tomorrow, same time, for more of the same on the live stream. What else am I going to say? Yeah, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Check out all the things above my head, guys. The website, the free Discord, and the Pepperstone promotion. I'm sure there's something there for you, and I'll see you tomorrow.